as a class GP7, General Purpose 7. General Purpose locomotives have 2-axle trucks underneath each end. Now on these trucks are traction motors. That's why it's called a diesel-electric locomotive. The diesel engine does not move the locomotive, but the diesel engine operates a generator creating the electricity that feeds each traction motor on each axle. So our locomotive has 4 traction motors on it. The diesel engine also operates an air compressor for the brake systems. When this locomotive was manufactured, it was delivered to the U.S. Army and used in the Kingsport, Tennessee munitions facility. When the U.S. Army was finished using it, we got word of it, and they gave us a pretty good deal. We picked this locomotive up for $500.
Wow.
But they weren't finished. They thought they'd give us a better deal. And they gave us the sister locomotive, 1824, along with it. So we picked up both locomotives for $500. It was a buy one, get one free sale from the Army. Now, 1824 is over here. We'll pass by it on the way to the back shops area. It's got a pretty decent repair list to it, so we keep 1829 running using it for our missionary local. And it's a very dependable locomotive. This locomotive, the GP7, is basically what took steam engines off the rails. They're more efficient, less costly to maintain, and were as powerful. So the steam engines, within a few years, were dropping off like flies, and the diesel-electric locomotive took over the rails. So as we're bringing our turntable over, we're going to pass track 1, which we came in on, and we're going to spot on track 2. Once spotted, our engineer's going to take our train, the locomotive down past our train, go through a switch, and then back on to the other end of our train, and then we'll be ready to go back to Grand Junction. You've got all that locomotive in front of your crew, but visibility was difficult. You had to have 2 people in the cab at all times. So our table that we're using today was made in 1916 by the American Bridge and Iron Foundry for the Central of Georgia Railroad. They used it in their Macon, Georgia facility for about 9 years, and then they outgrew it, so then they moved it to Cedartown, and then we got it from Cedartown and installed it here. 1982. This table is 80 feet long and weighs in at 80 tons. The locomotive weighs 120 tons. So that's 200 tons we're going to be turning here in just a moment. Now, usually around a turntable is a roundhouse. Roundhouse is a facility with the tracks going into it. That's where the railroads would put their locomotives in for service and maintenance or repairs. Now, on the larger railroads, the table would be about 140 foot in length with about 25 tracks going into the roundhouse. During this time, in the early time when this table was used, it was known as an Armstrong table. Let's break that word up. Armstrong. Okay? So off the end of each railing would be a pole, and once the locomotive is balanced on the table, 4 men would come up, 4 men with strong arms would come up and turn the table to the selected track. But when we installed this, and I can easily see 4 guys that could fit the bill for today's job. But when we installed this table, we put a 25 horsepower motor on it. So all Andrew has to do is push 1 button. So with 1 finger, he's going to turn the locomotive, not 4 men. Insurance likes that too. So as we bring on 1829 onto our table, little history on this locomotive. Well, let's talk about what he does first. When he gets on the table, that end's going to drop down. There's a 6-foot diameter ball bearing underneath the center of this table. So when he gets onto it, and he gets it over that bearing and balances it, that end of the table is going to drop down about 3 inches. Then he knows that he's balanced on the table just right. We'll start to turn it.